Hello, and my name's Henry. Welcome back to my channel. And Wednesday, the 10th of April 2019, I had my very first mental health appointment. It was more of an assessment than anything. It was my very first mental health assessment in about 10 years. It was really, really scary, like, to think about, because every other time I've ever done a mental health assessment or an appointment or seen a therapist or anyone like that, it's always not gone well. It's always been a disaster. And, to me, it was all about restarting again and seeing a new doctor and explaining them my health issues, my mental health issues, going through my trauma all over again. And yesterday, I felt sick to my stomach. Before I even tell you how it all went, I was so sick to my stomach. I did not feel well. I felt very anemic. I know I'm anemic anyway, but I felt extra fatigue and very anemic, and I felt very sick, and my anxiety made me feel the worst I've probably ever felt in a very, very long time. And when I got to the clinic about half an hour early, and I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to get up and walk out, and I was texting my friends saying, end me, I was saying, please get me out of here. My friend I texted lives in Birmingham, so fab. Even if they got here, they would be 6 hours too late. But yeah, I went with my mum, and she was a great, great help and support. And she helped fill in some extra details when I was there that I couldn't quite cover, explain, because it's different seeing your own mental health from an outsider's point of view to when you talk about it yourself, because when you talk about it yourself, you know what you're going through. However, when you're talking about it from an outsider's point of view, they know what it looks like, and they know what your behaviour's like, more importantly. And it actually went really, really well. And the first thing I did when I went into the room, I sat down and I said to the doctor, whom I was really happy that was an actual doctor. She wasn't just like a psychiatrist or just a mental health nurse or just a general nurse or an occupational therapist or anything. She was an actual doctor. I don't know if she was just a GP or what have you, but she was a proper doctor. And when I said I can't go up the stairs because I've got ME, I struggle with them, she was like, oh, that's okay, we'll get you a room down here. She was really good. She understood, what chronic illnesses were all about. I know doctors are supposed to know what chronic illnesses are all about anyway, but some of them don't really have much of a clue. And it was really nice that I didn't have to sit and explain to her about everything, about all my mental health and all my physical health stuff. It was just really nice to know that this person knows a generalization of everything. And another thing that made me really happy is that I sat down with her and I said, I know it's on this documentation, it's got my birth name / my dead name on it. I know it says this. However, is it okay if you were to call me Henry and use he, him pronouns? And throughout the entire assessment, she called me Henry every single time. She didn't mess up whatsoever, which is obviously easier for someone who's only just met me to say and do, which is really good. But at the same time, it's really nice that she said, yeah, whatever, I'll do that for you, because, I know that some doctors and practitioners could be like, oh, why do you want that for? I didn't really have to explain much about why. I said, oh, I'm transgender, can you just use Henry, please? I didn't have to say, oh, it'd be uncomfortable or dysphoric if you was to use my dead name, And that was the first ever doctor I've ever felt quite comfortable with, in terms of going, you know what, can you say my proper name instead of my dead name, please? I think that was a big step for me, and I think it'd just be easier if I just got my name changed legally, whether it be this year or next year, to have all the doctors just constantly just call me by Henry instead of my dead name, because it's just going to be so exhausting if I keep going to doctors and dentists now and say, yeah, can you just call me something different to what's on the paperwork? I know that seems a bit dodgy, but, you know, it makes me feel more comfortable. However, that aside completely, because, you know, that's not about the appointment. The whole appointment went really well. We talked about everything. We talked about my health, my mental health, my history, both health history and personal history. We talked about my mum and her, a little bit about her history too. We talked about my dad, i.e. my biological dad, who I don't have anything to do with, and trauma from him and about him and all that kind of thing. That, because obviously he's the key to a lot of my mental health issues. We talked about what could be possibly going on in my head. I talked about, you know, the things that trouble me a lot. You know, I talked about generalization of depression, anxiety, and sorry, a bit of a trigger warning for this video. I'm sorry I didn't do it at the start. I'm going to be talking a lot about mental health and feeling suicidal and self-harm and attempting suicide, that kind of thing. I don't know what I'm going to say. I didn't really plan this. I'm just speaking my mind. So you might hear little bits of that. I won't go into detail, obviously. I'm just talking about it as a general. So that's the quick warning for you. So if you're not into that kind of thing, then turn off now. You know, switch the video, watch Markiplier or PewDiePie or music video. I don't know what you do in your spare time. I'm not you, but yeah, we talked about self-harming when the last time I did it, and what I used to do. Or sorry, I just got to touch my laptop. Sorry, so I'm uploading other videos right now. My laptop went to sleep a little bit. So, yeah, about self-harming and what I used to do or what I still do and all that kind of thing, and what I've been doing since I was a kid, and talked about suicide attempts and when was my last time, and so on and so forth. We talked about bullying a little bit as well. That was difficult. That was quite difficult, actually. The only 2 times I cried was when I talked about my dad and bullying. That was literally the only 2 times. I talked about things that are going on at the moment, like with mental health-wise, obviously. She said, "Oh, what's going on recently, or within the would you like to talk about first, recently or the last year?" And I'm like, where do I start? I just talked about it as if I was giving context to something. So yeah, I talked about what happened last Thursday. If you're not one of my close friends who's watching this, basically last Thursday I kind of went through a whole manic episode in Primark, and I spent £150 in Primark, which I kind of regret, but at the same time I'm really happy with all the clothes I bought, so woohoo. But yeah, we talked about everything as a general, what's going on, what's not going on. We talked about my family mental health history and all that kind of thing. And we just went through everything, and it was just really nice. It was just really nice, and it was probably one of the most positive experiences I've had with a mental health clinic in my entire life. I'm not kidding. I'm going back in around about 4 weeks or so, which is really good. I've been offered different types of therapy, which is really lovely. I've been given antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds. They're both the same meds, so it's just got to take one every morning. I was supposed to take one today. However, because of my epilepsy, we don't know how it's going to affect me and my epilepsy, and if it's going to give me any seizures or not. So because of that, we're not going to start them until after the weekend, because I'm going down to London this weekend and I don't want to ruin my trip. So yeah, I don't want to ruin my weekend because it's a very, very special weekend. I've got a lot of things going on, and I don't really want to have a seizure and miss out on anything or end up in the hospital or anything like that. So I'm gonna be really sensible. Restart. I'm gonna start my antidepressants Monday first thing, and I'm really excited because I've never been on antidepressants before. I'm hoping that they're gonna work for me. Certain meds don't work for me, like the pill or the mini pill and all that kind of thing. I'm kind of really unlucky when it comes to meds that are supposed to work with my hormones and that, but I can't really help that. However, yeah, I'm just going to go for it. If they work, they work. If they don't work, they don't work. I just want something to help stabilise my mood at the moment, until I get a full diagnosis of whether it could be PTSD or bipolar or autism or a mixture of the three or something else completely. Just want to, I don't want to experiment with things. I just want to try things and see how they get on, and if they don't get on, I'll just try something else. And obviously, it takes about 2 weeks for antidepressants to even get into your system, then another 2 weeks for them to start working properly, and then another 2 weeks for them to even make a difference. So it's going to be another 6 to 8 weeks before I can even tell if I'm feeling any better or not. However, since yesterday, I've been feeling really good because, I don't know, I felt like I just got a load of things off my chest yesterday, and I started to unpack bags, like a proper emotional baggage, and it was a positive experience, and I have that positive connection with going to therapy now. So I never thought I'd say this, but I'm half excited to go back to therapy. Genuinely excited for a hospital appointment and to go back to therapy. And me and Mum will talk about the other day, if you really do want to be called Henry, like properly, I think it is time for me to have my name legally changed. So I think 2 good things came out of yesterday. Got a really good and positive experience of going to therapy, and Mum's really taking my trans stuff quite seriously. Even though I've been out as non-binary for about 6-7 years or so, and then I started to identify as being transgender because I didn't know if there was, 5-6 years ago, baby me was very much new to all the terms and terminology and all that kind of thing and meanings, so I didn't really identify as being, trans, masculine, or F to M / female to male type thing until 2 years ago. So it is still really new to Mum, as well as I'm still learning too, I know where I am, I know where I stand in being non-binary and transgender and such. But yeah, Mum's still at baby steps. Mum's still where I was about 6-7 years ago. Because obviously she's cis and she's a non-queer. So it's going to take a long while. I know I'm going off topic of mental health, but yeah, I'm excited for everything now. I'm excited for getting treatment and hopefully people looking after me the way they should have about, 10 years ago. But yeah, I think that's it. That's the vlog. I've got nothing else to say, I don't think. So yeah, once the other 2 videos I've finally uploaded, I should be uploading this one. See you in the next video. Bye!